King Kamehameha says, cash is king. Tiger Stacker here. And actually, King Kamehameha didn't actually say that. But the great state of Hawaii, which was the home of King Kamehameha, has entered into the battle against digital currency. Just to recap, I did this video and this video about the war between cash and digital currency. And many of you have been gracious enough to leave comments on this matter. Just recently, I received an email from a subscriber in Hawaii who is a frequent visitor to my channel. And to protect her identity, I extracted her comments from the email and put it into Microsoft Word. She states, "Aloha, Tiger. Check out that they are trying to pass a bill for cash use. Thought you would like to see this. Have a great day, Mrs. Aloha." And she has given 3 excerpts on this, which state, should Hawaii protect the right to pay with cash? Senate Bill 3255 requiring retailers to accept cash. What this bill actually does: require all merchants to accept cash for in-purchase sales, apply to retail goods and services, take effect upon approval. It does not apply to online purchases or internet sales. Translation: if you walk into a store, they must accept cash. Protecting the right to pay with cash. In Hawaii, more businesses are going cashless. This bill would require all retail merchants to accept cash for in-person transactions. Why? The legislature states that refusing cash can exclude kupuna, low-income residents, unbanked or underbanked, create economic barriers to basic goods and services. U.S. currency is legal tender, but businesses can currently choose not to accept it. What is kupuna? It is a grandparent, ancestor, or elder representing a revered source of wisdom, culture, and life experience. It symbolizes the source of existence, often referred to as a spring of water. Kupuna are held in high regard as keepers of knowledge and tradition. I respect people who respect their elders, even when I was younger. And as an older person myself, I see the wisdom in that respect. I'm very proud of the people of Hawaii who show this respect for their elders, even to the point of making this state bill up for discussion in their state. And later, Mrs. Aloha sent an additional email which gave this link, which shows the legislation, which I will leave in the description below for you to review this in its entirety. It states that legislature recognizes the United States coins and currency as legal tenders for all debts, public charges, taxes, and dues, and that refusal to accept cash for everyday transactions may create barriers for commerce, undermine consumer choice, and exacerbate existing economic inequities in the state. The legislature further finds that the exclusion may function as an economic barrier that disproportionately affects vulnerable populations and undermines the state's commitment to fairness and equal access. As I said before, kupuna is a Hawaiian term that represents the elderly and the respect that they deserve. And as I said in a prior video, the younger people in our country have drank too much of the governmental Kool-Aid and think that money is digital and in their phone. Us older people never had digital currency and relied upon cash and coin. And this should be maintained by everyone, but especially the elders. I'm so proud of Hawaii's culture for doing this legislation and the respect it gives the people who have helped this country build over the last few decades. Digital currency, whether it is by credit card, debit card, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Bitcoin, or other forms of cryptocurrency, upcoming stablecoin, or even CBDC. If this bill passes into law, Hawaii will join 9 states and several major cities that have active legislation requiring businesses to accept cash for in-person transactions to prevent discrimination against unbanked and underbanked customers. These key states with such laws include Massachusetts, New Jersey, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Montana, Oregon, Rhode Island, and finally New York. If West Virginia is also able to get their bill into law, it will make 11 states, or 22% of the U.S., with mandatory laws preventing discrimination against unbanked and underbanked citizens, especially the elderly who were raised in non-digital times. In addition, I want to point out this comment from Vincent KX9ZE. You are fighting a losing battle, my friend. 99% of the U.S. supply is digital, and it's something like 50% plus of the cash in circulation and overseas in $100 bills. The conversation is functionally complete. The time for the battle was 30 years ago, but I admire the fighting spirit. My response? Of course, it was starting 30 years ago. They started very strategically and silently. Otherwise, there would have been a fight back then. We might lose the battle, but we need to keep fighting. We might lose, but we will lose fighting. They fought us for 30 years. Does not mean that we have to give up once we realize the scam. The fight is not over, my friends. The fat lady has not sung yet. We might be in the third quarter of the game, but it is not over. Just because they have fooled us and got a head start on us does not mean that we have to accept defeat. So I encourage all of you who are in states that do not have such legislation to contact your state house and or Senate to encourage similar legislation to be presented and hopefully passed into law. Grassroots movements can be passed into law. And if we join together in community, including a legislative community, we have the chance to win, and if not win, seriously slow down the progression to digital currency that will have the chance that will control us once it is established completely. Once again, I need to reiterate that I have not changed my position on gold and silver as the alternate sound money. Cash is a currency losing its potential power over time, but you can still hold it and keep it outside of the system. You cannot do that with digital. I want to give a huge thank you and shout out to everyone who's commented, but most especially Mrs. Aloha for bringing this information to our attention in our community. Please leave comments below, not only for this video, but also for the contributors in this endeavor, and especially Mrs. Aloha. I also ask you to please hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. And if you like the content that is being created and educates and protects the people in our community and also those outside the community, keep in mind, knowledge is power and everybody needs to be made aware. So make that comment, hit the bell notification so you can be made aware when I leave more educational and awesome videos for you and everyone. Thank you, everyone. Tiger Stacker out.